Hello, this is Teresa. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be sharing an unboxing video as well as a review of the new Metallix gel. So I want to thank Therm O Web for sending me this box of goodies that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So you'll be able to see some of what will be coming up in new videos as I use these new products. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now the first thing I'm pulling out is a pair of Stencil pals, and I'll be using them later in this video. The next thing I'm pulling out is some Ultra Bond adhesive. And the next thing I'm pulling out of the box, which I will be demoing later in the video, is the Metallix gels. I have three colors here. I have the glazed pewter, champagne mist, and the last one I'm pulling out here is aged copper, and I just love the color of this already. You can tell I'm really going to like it. And I also have some Gina K Glitz Glitter Gel in gold. The next thing to come out of the box are these metal tips that can be put on any iCraft bottle. I bet those will come in useful for something. And I have the new transfer sheets. I have the silver sketch, and these are all the Brutus Monroe colors that were released at Creativation earlier this year. The purple sketch, and I think that is just so gorgeous. And of course the green sketch is absolutely beautiful as well. And I'll get to this designer toner sheets there just in a minute. I have all the flock transfer sheets. I have the white, the black, the purple, the blue, the green, sunshine yellow, orange glow, and think pink. And so that's all of the flock transfer sheets. Next in the box is a roll of purple tape, and I'm very happy to get that because I am running low on the one that I have now. And now onto the designer toner sheets. You have the cobblestone pattern, the kaleidoscope pattern, which is really cool. And this is a nice one, paint brushed, static, crosshatch, and last but not least, the double dots. So I'm predicting I'm going to have a lot of fun using these. Next on the agenda today is experimenting with the Metallix foil gels. So I'm using this stencil from Heavy Doodle. And it's really cute. It's like this circuit with a little heart in the center. And since I have not been able to get my hands on the pixie spray just yet, I'm using some quilt basting spray. It's just a temporary repositional adhesive. Hopefully it will work well enough for this experiment. So I've placed my stencil down on some dark gray cardstock because I want to go for a tone on tone. For this first experiment, I wanted to try kind of a tone-on-tone look at first. I won't be forcing you to watch me add the product to every single stencil for every single color, but for the first one, I will at least go through the process just so I can show you the use of the little stencil pal right here. I've never used one of these before, and one thing I did find that I like a lot is the fact that they are flexible. I've used palette knives to spread on product. I've used quite a few different things, and I'm a little bit challenged in this area. So I found that this particular tool made it very easy to add this kind of gel. And what I found as far as the consistency on it in general is it's kind of like sour cream to me, or at least it's kind of the consistency that I felt it was most like. And with the consistency in this little stencil pal, it was pretty easy to get good coverage across my stencil here. So once I do get it a nice even coat over it, and I will put back whatever I can scrape off into the jar so I don't waste any, or waste as little as possible. And then I will reveal what it looks like. And now on to the second color. I'm going to be using the copper color, and I'm using brown cardstock underneath that as my base color. So again, I'm spreading this on with a palette knife and dragging it across the stencil. And once finished, it is very beautiful against this brown cardstock. I was just amazed at what it looked like. And my third experiment is with some paper that is cardstock that has already got a shimmery finish to it. I'm using a detailed, much more detailed stencil this time. It's from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm using the Champagne Mist Metallix gel over this, which is virtually a perfect match for the paper. Now, I did spread some of the gel beyond where the stencil is into the corners, so that's why I'm trying to avoid touching the corners as I'm pulling off the stencil. And the reveal is just gorgeous. This turned out so beautiful. And here's another look at all the panels now that they're completely dry, so you can see that the Deco foil stays completely shiny after dry. It looks almost as if it is still wet. So this is, I think, a fantastic result. I love the texture on it. I love the color. And I'm going to experiment with this in yet another way. I wanted to make some customized sentiment banners, so I thought I would play a little bit more with the mediums and see what happens if I use different tools to spread them onto some cardstock. So first I started with this cosmetic sponge, and I started spreading it, and I tried to see how thin could I spread it and see how opaque it would be. The result was, unless you put it on fairly heavily, it will be kind of, you can still see through it to the back of the paper. So depending on what look you're going for, this might be great for a certain technique. But for today, what I really wanted was to have a more opaque result, so I wouldn't see any of that white behind the gel. So I switched to using a palette knife, and I'm now using that with the glazed pewter color at the bottom. And then after I'm satisfied that I have the coverage that I want there, I switch to the other color that I have, which is the Champagne Mist. And something I wanted to share with you that I found out is, if you're impatient like I am sometimes and you want the product to dry faster, you can absolutely use a heat gun with this. I didn't show it on screen, but it dried the product and it had no reaction to being heated up that I could see. So here are the 3 banners that I made out of each color, and I will stamp them and turn them into cards along with the backgrounds. So here are the 3 cards that I made with all these backgrounds and banners I created with Deco Foil Metallix Gel. I think this is a great product, and I expect that I will be using it a lot in my crafting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. And here are some additional videos in my channel that you might enjoy watching. Thank you. See you next time.